What's up? I am back. I'm heading to the airport because I am sitting ready. And if you guys don't know what that means, don't worry. We're gonna head to the airport and I'll go ahead and tell you what that's about. But this is day 2 of my 6 days of being on call, which is normally called on reserve for those who are flight attendants. They didn't use me yesterday, didn't call me, but today they called me to sit ready at the airport between 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. So we'll see if we go on a trip. If not, we'll just head home later tonight. With that being said, let's head to the airport. See you there. Alright, so I've been at the airport for a couple of hours. I'm sitting ready, which means I'm sitting at the airport for 5 hours. Basically, I'm here in case anything happens. I need to get a flight attendant into the plane as soon as possible here at Vegas. Usually there's like 2 or 3 of us that sit ready at one time. There's another person sitting ready right now. So we're pretty much just waiting to see if we get called. Once our time is up, which is 10 o'clock for me tonight, once it's 10 o'clock, I call and let them know I'm going home. And then I'll be back on reserve tomorrow. Alright guys, so I was not used for those 5 hours, so it's past 10 o'clock. I got called and I got released, so I'm back at my car and I'm gonna drive home. We'll see if I get used. Tomorrow will be day 3 out of 6 being on reserve, so we'll see if I get called for a trip or if I come back to the airport and sit for another couple of hours. So anyway, day 2 is done. I didn't include day 1 because I did nothing, so day 2 is done. Let's see you guys tomorrow. Bye. All right, day 3 out of 6. I didn't get used yesterday. I checked my schedule just a few minutes ago and they have nothing planned for me as of right now. It might be just another day of sitting here at home doing nothing. But since I told you yesterday that I was gonna kind of explain what it means to be on reserve, let's dive down into that just a little bit so you guys kind of understand. All right, excuse the bad hair. It's 1:45 in the afternoon and I just woke up. I'm usually on reserve C, which I'll go into in just a minute. In reserve C, my call time is between 2 p.m. to 12 o'clock midnight, so usually I get scheduled red eyes or late flights, so usually I'm up pretty late. But because I wasn't used yesterday, I was up until 4 o'clock in the morning and I was just awake watching movies until I can go to sleep. Let's talk about what it means being on reserve. Now, with most airlines, you are going to start off either partially or fully on reserve. Now, on reserve is just a fancy way of saying on call. Most airlines, typically you will know your whole month's schedule. So example, I know that I had a 6-day stretch of being on reserve C. Now for my airline, they categorize differently, reserve A, B, and C. Sometimes they reserve 1, 2, and 3, or whichever. Reserve A for my airline is from midnight to 10 o'clock in the morning. Reserve B is from 7 to 5 p.m. and Reserve C is from 2 p.m. to midnight. The reason why they have 3 different types is just because it depends on, you know, where your base is out of and, you know, what your preference is. Because like for me, I'm a night owl, so if I get an assignment, I'll be awake from 2 o'clock to midnight, and if they give me an assignment, more than likely I will be working at red eye, which means I'll be up all night, but I am totally okay with that. Going back to what reserves really means is that you don't know where you're gonna go, how long you're gonna go, or if you are gonna be used. Meaning, let's use my 6-day stretch right now as an example. I'm on day 3 of 6 on being on reserve. Day number 1, I didn't record anything because I didn't get used. I was just here all day, kind of just waiting, and I didn't get used. So yesterday, I saw that I was being sat ready at the airport on my schedule, and then they called me. So usually they give you at least 2 hours before your assignment, so you have time to get ready and get to the airport. So they called me about 2.5 hours saying, hey, I'm going to be sitting ready from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Sitting ready, and it could be different for other airlines, but for what it means to my airline is that we basically go to the airport, check in, and just hang out at the crew room, basically until we get used or until our time is up. So my time is from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. So yesterday, I didn't get used, I didn't get called, so right when it was 10 p.m., I called my crew scheduling, let's say, hey, it's 10 p.m., I'm going home, and they're like, cool, you're released. Usually if they have an assignment pre-scheduled for you or something for them, they'll tell you, like, okay, you're gonna be ready, reserve tomorrow again. Well, no, they just told me, okay, reserve seat tomorrow, so no assignment yet. But yeah, that's basically kind of like the reserve idea. You don't know where you're going, how long. You can get a one-day turn, which means you just go fly somewhere and you come back that same day. When I'm not sitting ready, I am at home between 2 o'clock to midnight because I don't want to be too far from home. And I basically kind of just hang out and watch TV and eat and do nothing until I either get a call or until it's midnight and then I know I'm free. So that's kind of the idea of being reserved. Some airlines kind of shuffle it a little bit, so you might be reserved for 1 month and then actually have a schedule another month, or it switches back and forth, and then as your seniority grows you get less and less of those reserved months. My airline, you're all on reserve all the time until you get a line or a schedule. And then there's also some airlines that only have you reserve a couple days a month until basically you're senior enough to not have them. So I know other airlines, you have a schedule, but then 6 days of every month you are on reserve. So a reserve thing is something that's it's industry standard thing for flight attendants. If you are interested in becoming a flight attendant, just know, especially if you're commuting, if you don't live near your home base, if you are on reserve for 6 days and you're not even sure if you're going to be used, you have to be near home base for 6 days to possibly be used. I've had some of my friends commute to a different city and they had to stay there and they didn't get used on any trips, so they came back home. So prepare for that. There's these things called crash pads, which I'll just mention. I'm not going to get into detail, but the crash pads are basically kind of like a dorm-styled living situation for flight attendants and pilots. So basically, it could be out of a house, an apartment, or even a hotel. Basically, it means that there's just a bunch of beds in one room, a kitchen, a bathroom, and transportation to the airport for relatively cheap for a whole month. So if you are commuting to another city and you have to be in your city away from where you actually live, or you actually have a place to sleep, calling a crash pad, because it's not somewhere you want to stay for long. However, it is a nice place to be able to know that you have a bed to sleep on and food to cook. Usually the crash pads are all flight attendants and or pilots, and sometimes they're all male, all female, or sometimes they're co-ed. So there's lots of resources out there. If you are a current flight attendant or if you're becoming a flight attendant, definitely do your research about crash pads. They are all over the place and definitely worth looking into, especially if you are commuting. All right, so it is almost 2 o'clock, so we will see if they call me. If they call me, I'll let you know. Otherwise, let's just I'm just gonna start carrying on with my day. Guys, I got a trip. It's a red-eye / 3-day trip. Today's Sunday, so I get back in Vegas around noon on Wednesday. I'll be gone for pretty much 3 days, but I get 2 layovers because I'm doing a red-eye to Newark today. I get into Newark around 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm there all day for my day 4 of 6. And then I leave early, like around 7 or 8 on Monday morning. No, Tuesday morning. I fly to Orlando, and then I land in Orlando around 10:15 in the morning, and I have all day to do whatever I want. And if you guys don't know, I used to live in Orlando, and I haven't been back since I became a flight attendant, so I'm super excited to go back. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm trying to hit up my friends to see if any people are available. I might go to Disney, I might go to Universal, I don't know yet. But I'm excited to finally go fly to Orlando because we have a lot of layovers there. I'll be staying in Orlando Tuesday, pretty much all day. And Wednesday, I leave early, around, I think my flight leaves at 7 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. and we head up to Detroit. We do a plane change, and then we go from Detroit to Las Vegas, and I'll be home. So day 3 out of 6 on reserve. I got my assignment, and it's a red eye, so my flight leaves at 10:20, which means I have to be at the airport at 9:20, and it's almost 8 o'clock, so I'm gonna leave a little bit early to get some coffee since I'm gonna have a long layover tomorrow. But I'm going to see about going into New York City, but I'm not gonna go to the World Trade Center because on one of my trips, which I didn't record, I just took lots of pictures, I went to New York for my first time, but I'm gonna try to go to Times Square, and I've never been, so I'm super excited, so hopefully it works out. Anyway, I'm pretty much ready to go. I'm gonna grab my stuff and head to the airport, so I'll see you there. Alright, I am in Newark, New Jersey. It is 6:30 a.m. the next day. The flight was smooth, no issues. It was a pretty full flight, but it went by fast, which most red eyes for me go really fast. I'm gonna go downstairs for breakfast in an hour, and then come up and maybe just freshen up, and then we're gonna go into the city. So we're going to go to Times Square. I'm so excited. Before we do that, let's go ahead and do a quick room tour. Alright, so I kind of just relaxed a little bit. I actually went down for breakfast, which wasn't bad. It was the smallest breakfast I've seen, but I think I'm just hungry because it just tasted so good. But then me and a crew member were just sitting downstairs talking, and we're like, oh my God, it's almost been 2 hours. And like, we should have been ready to leave for New York by now. So I'm just got back in the room. I'm gonna shower real quick, but I went down to the front desk to ask about going to New York, and they gave me this New York City guide to keep. Perfect. I'm gonna go shower, and we're gonna head to New York. I'm gonna show you the view though. Now that it's actually daylight, sort of, outside, I'm gonna show you the view from my room. All right, we're back on the train and we're gonna go back to Newark where our hotel is. We kind of just ran around New York City and Times Square a bit, but I'm with one of my classmates, Mijin. Hello. Hey. And she's been awesome, and we ran around New York City for a couple hours.
My best buddy right now.
But yeah, we're tired. Did you nap?
30 minutes.
I didn't nap. I've been awake for 24 hours now. Wait, what time is it?
1:33.
Almost 24 hours. But anyway, we're gonna go back to the hotel, eat the food that we bought, and we're gonna go to sleep. Because we're going to Orlando tomorrow. Woo-hoo! We're gonna run around Disney tomorrow. Yeah! All right, I'll see you back at the hotel. All right, I'm gonna call it a day. I think it's day 5 out of 6. Yes, it's now day 5 out of 6. Wait, no, that's not right. It's day 4 of 6. I am so tired, I can't think. It's day 4 of 6. Tomorrow we have a 6 o'clock van time, 1 flight to Orlando, and I get to spend all day in Orlando. That's like my second home. I miss it. I haven't been back in Orlando since I left for training. I am literally super, super, super excited to go back. I'm like actually getting more wakened up by thinking about it. But yeah, I'm gonna end day 4 right now. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed New York City and a little bit of views of Times Square. I'll wrap it up and we'll see you tomorrow. Good night. Good day. Whatever. All right, guys. Day 5. I didn't really sleep at all. I really tried for like over an hour and a half. And I just couldn't go back to bed. So I just stayed awake and watched some Netflix and ate some food. And 4 hours later, here I am. I'm getting ready for my 6 o'clock van time. It's about to be 5:45, so I'm about to leave the room. I'm all packed and everything to go, so I'm a little tired, and I feel like I'm gonna get even more tired as soon as this flight's done. However, I'm super excited and happy to be flying to Orlando. I'm just really happy to go back. I know I already mentioned this, but I haven't been back to Orlando since I left for training. So I'm just very happy to check everything out. It's gonna be hot. It's gonna be like 90 degrees and very humid. But hopefully I'll see some of my old coworkers and my friends. Just have a good time in Orlando. So anyway, I'm gonna get going. We'll see you in a moment. I'm so excited to be here, and I really dig this hotel room. This is awesome. I'm gonna do a quick room tour, and then I'm gonna get changed and go out because we're gonna go to Disney Springs.
back at the hotel. Spent a long but great day over at Disney. I basically took out 2 of my crew members, went to Disney Springs, showed them around, ate some amazing food, rode some boats, monorails, buses, pretty much just kind of skimmed everything without going to any of the parks. Everything that we did was free, minus obviously like eating and buying stuff, but it was an awesome time. They had a great time. It is now 6:30 p.m. I have been up since 11 p.m. yesterday. Oh, I'm exhausted. It was worth it. I saw a couple of my old coworkers. That was awesome. I got to eat some of my favorite food, which is always great. Now I'm back in the hotel. We have a van time at I think 5:30 in the morning. So I think what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try to just take a little nap, hopefully just a nap, and then go down for dinner with my crew members and then sleep the rest of the night and have an early start for tomorrow. So I'm gonna end it here at day 5. Tomorrow, day 6, we're gonna go to Detroit and then back to Vegas. So we're gonna go ahead and end it today. I'll see you tomorrow. And just like that, I'm home. I already changed. Oh man, that was a crazy 2 legs. Like going to Detroit was easy as cake. It was like half full, but the flight coming from Detroit to Vegas, man, it was a larger aircraft, so we have over 200 people on that plane, and it was full. There's no open seats. We got catered before we left Detroit, so we had everything. And by the time we got to Vegas, we had like maybe a third left of things. It was awesome though. People were great. It was just, we were constantly running around getting stuff for everybody. I'm home now, so it's 2:15. I've been awake since 1 a.m. West Coast time. I have to run errands. I have to go do stuff. I have a busy week ahead of me even though I'm on my days off. I haven't eaten since my first flight, and on my first flight, actually the only thing I've eaten today was a cup of noodles and 2 Oreos. I was gonna eat a sandwich. I had my lunch on this last flight. I couldn't eat it. There was just no time. I was constantly doing stuff for over 4 hours on that flight. I just didn't have time to eat. I gotta run some errands. I'm gonna get lunch. I'm gonna go home, and then I'm gonna sleep because I am wiped out, exhausted. But I had such a good trip. Like, my crew was awesome. My layovers were great. I wish I was able to film more at Disney World. That's my home. That's my second home. So I was kind of soaking it in. Also, I was showing around 2 of my crew members. They had never been to Disney World, so I was kind of focusing on them and telling them all the cool little facts and history. So I didn't really have too much to record, but we didn't really do much. We kind of just went around the property without going into the park. So anyways, that is day 6 out of 6 days. Thank you for joining me today on this 6 days of reserve with my little 3.5 day trip at the end. I appreciate you guys watching this video and hope to see you next time, and I'll see you in the skies.